He wanted change so badly it hurt, but every time he tried to start, something invisible pulled him back into the same life. Not the big obvious things like laziness or lack of knowledge. It was quieter than that. It was a mental trap that felt like logic. He would sit there, staring at the first step, feeling the weight of everything he hadn't done yet, and his brain would whisper, "Not now." The whisper didn't sound like fear. It sounded like planning. It sounded like being responsible. It sounded like waiting for the right moment. This is the story of Jason, a man who didn't lack desire. He lacked permission, not from other people. From his own mind, Jason had goals that mattered. Get healthier, build a skill, create something of his own, fix his finances, stop feeling like his days were slipping away. He watched videos, saved advice, wrote notes, bought notebooks, made lists. His mind was full of strategies. His life was still the same. And every time he failed to start, he blamed his character. He told himself he was weak, undisciplined, broken in some way. But Jason wasn't broken. He was overloaded by one dangerous belief. He thought he had to feel ready before he could act. Readiness, for him, meant confidence, clarity, energy. A perfect state of mind where doubt would disappear and effort would feel easy. The problem was simple. That state of mind never arrived, and if it did arrive, it didn't stay long enough to build anything real. Jason's brain kept treating starting like a threat, because starting meant commitment, and commitment meant exposure. Exposure to failure, exposure to judgment, exposure to the possibility that he might try hard and still not become the person he imagined. So his mind protected him, not with panic, with delay. Delay was his brain's way of keeping him safe from proof. Proof is scary because proof is honest. Proof can show you your real level. Proof can remove excuses. Proof can force you to grow. Jason didn't fear work. He feared the moment work would reveal him. One morning, he woke up early with that rare energy people call a fresh start. He sat at his desk and opened a blank document. The blank page felt like a mirror. It reflected every dream he had and every time he avoided it. And in that reflection, he felt pressure. His mind said, if you start, it has to be good. It said, if you start, you can't stop. It said, if you start, you might fail. Then his mind offered him a deal. Just plan a little more. Planning sounded smart, so he accepted, and the day quietly slipped away. That night, Jason felt the familiar pain. A day used up, a goal untouched, and a tired mind pretending tomorrow would be different. The next day, the cycle repeated. He wanted change, but he couldn't start, and the more he delayed, the heavier starting became, because delay adds weight. Every delayed day becomes another piece of evidence that starting is hard, and your brain learns from evidence. Jason didn't realize he was training himself to hesitate. Every time he delayed, he taught his mind that avoidance is a normal response to discomfort. A mental trap was not that he didn't know what to do. The trap was that he treated discomfort as danger. Most people do. When discomfort shows up, they assume something is wrong. They assume they chose the wrong goal, the wrong time, the wrong method. But discomfort is often a sign you're close to the real work, the work that matters enough to challenge your identity. Jason worked a normal job, and he was good at it. He could handle stress, deadlines, responsibility. He could show up for everyone else. But when it came to himself, he became fragile. Not because he didn't care, but because self-change is personal. When your goal is personal, failure doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like a verdict. That's why Jason avoided starting. Avoiding protected his self-image. If he never fully tried, he never fully risked being wrong. The problem was the cost. That protection came with regret, and regret is heavier than effort when carried for years. One evening, Jason met an old friend who seemed calmer than before. Not louder, not more exciting, just steady. Jason said, I want to change. I really do. But I can't start. He expected motivation. He expected a speech. His friend didn't give him hype. He asked him one question. What do you feel right before you avoid? Jason tried to answer quickly, but the real answer took time. He sat with it until it surfaced. Pressure, he said, like it has to be perfect. His friend nodded and said, that's the trap. You're not avoiding the task. You're avoiding the feeling the task creates. That sentence hit Jason hard because it explained everything. Procrastination wasn't time management. It was emotional management. Jason went home and watched himself more closely, not with shame, with curiosity. He started to notice the moment the trap appeared. The trap always appeared at the doorway. The first step, the opening of the document, the first workout, the first message, the beginning. Because beginnings are where the mind creates stories. What if I fail? What if I waste time? What if I'm not good enough? What if this changes my life? Those stories feel like protection, but they are prisons. They keep you thinking so you don't have to move. Jason realized he was trying to start at level 10. He wanted to begin with a perfect system, a perfect routine, a perfect plan. But perfection is not ambition. Perfection is fear pretending to be standards. He wrote a rule in his notebook. I don't start with perfect. I start with ugly. The rule felt insulting to his pride, which meant it was probably correct. He named it the ugly first step. The first version's job was not to impress. Its job was to exist. The next morning, he opened the document and wrote the worst title he could. He typed 3 messy bullet points. No structure, no beauty, just movement. His mind tried to stop him, but the rule was stronger than the feeling. Ugly first, he repeated, and he kept going. 10 minutes later, the pressure decreased. Not because he became confident, but because the monster became smaller once it was on the page. Jason learned a powerful truth. The mind exaggerates tasks when they are imaginary. Action makes them real, and real is easier to handle than fantasy. He then built a second tool to escape the trap on bad days. He called it the 10-minute contract. The contract was simple. 10 minutes only. Work on the goal for 10 minutes, with permission to stop after. The goal wasn't to finish. The goal was to start daily. 10 minutes felt almost too small to matter. That's why it worked. Small lowers fear. Small reduces the ego threat. Small makes the doorway easier to cross. The first day, he did 10 minutes and stopped. He didn't judge it. He just marked it on a calendar with an X. The second day, he did 10 minutes again. The trap showed up, but now he had a rule. Rules are important because feelings are negotiators. By day 4, the trap was still there, but quieter. Like a door alarm that stops screaming when it learns you're going to walk through anyway. Jason started noticing another truth. He wasn't failing because he lacked willpower. He was failing because he had too many decisions. Every morning he would ask, what should I do? And the number of options would overwhelm him. Overwhelm looks like laziness, but it's actually overload. So he created the 1-lane list. 1 goal for the season, 1 daily action, 1 minimum. That's it. He stopped trying to change everything at once. Because when you try to change everything, your brain feels attacked and defends the old life harder. One morning, he felt tired and told himself, today doesn't count. That was the old voice returning with a new disguise. Jason answered with a new rule. Bad days count more, because bad days are where identity is built. Good days are easy. Bad days reveal who you are. He did his 10 minutes on a bad day. It was sloppy. It was slow. It was enough. And for the first time, he felt control without excitement. He realized starting is a skill, and he had never trained it. He had trained dreaming, planning, and restarting, but not starting. Most people think the hardest part is finishing. For Jason, the hardest part was beginning without guarantee. And that's what the mental trap steals from you. It steals your ability to begin imperfectly. It convinces you that imperfect beginnings are failures. Jason began to respect imperfect beginnings because every great thing is built from bad first attempts. He also learned to stop asking, "Do I feel like it?" and start asking, "What is the next physical action?" Physical actions are powerful because they bypass the mind's courtroom. The mind can debate goals forever, but it can't debate open the file. So he built the 60-second doorway. When he felt resistance, he had to do one physical action within 60 seconds. Open the document, put on the shoes, write one sentence, send one message. The rule was movement before meaning. Meaning is important, but meaning can become pressure. Movement reduces pressure. Movement creates proof. Proof became his new fuel. Not motivation. Proof. Proof that he can show up even when he doesn't feel ready. Jason noticed something strange after 2 weeks. He felt calmer. Not because life got easier, but because he stopped carrying the guilt of avoidance all day. Avoidance creates background noise. Your mind whispers, "You should be doing it." Starting quiets that whisper because action ends the argument. Then life tested him. A stressful week, less sleep, more problems. The perfect time for the mental trap to win again. The old Jason would have disappeared and promised himself he'd restart later. This time, he protected one thing, the minimum. 10 minutes, ugly first step, one lane list, one doorway action. That was his system, and systems survive chaos. He learned that the goal is not to feel confident. The goal is to be consistent. Confidence is a receipt. You get it after you pay with repetition. Jason also stopped romanticizing change. Change is not one big decision. Change is 1,000 small decisions that look boring in the moment. The mental trap tries to make you think you need a massive breakthrough to begin. In reality, you need a smaller start you can repeat. If you want to escape the trap, don't ask for more motivation. Ask for less pressure. Shrink the start until your fear has nothing to argue with. Use the ugly first step. The first version's only job is to exist. Use the 10-minute contract. 10 minutes daily, no matter what. Use the 60-second doorway. One physical action before your brain negotiates. Jason didn't become a new man because he finally felt ready. He became a new man because he stopped obeying the mental trap that told him to wait. Every story reshapes your mindset.